Welcome to The Explainer. We're diving straight into the stark financial reality facing working families across Ireland today.
Because, look, if your side gig money suddenly drops to zero, the harsh reality is that those famously high Irish living costs, especially rent, the mortgage, the energy bills, they stay exactly the same. They don't budge an inch. And when that happens, it puts a massive pinch on the household. So at some point, anyone making a few extra quid on the side has to ask themselves the big question. Could this actually replace the day job? Could you take something that started out as just a bit of extra cash and actually turn it into your main source of income?
So, is it about ultimate freedom, or is it just too much risk? Let's start with the case for control. A side hustle completely removes that ceiling your employer puts on you. You're suddenly the one dictating the terms. You control your output, you set your own pricing, and you manage your own growth. And if you actually manage to scale it up successfully, well, there's absolutely no limit imposed by a boss. It gives you total freedom over your time, your direction, and your true income potential. The core argument here is that taking total control of your own earning power is literally the ultimate path to financial independence.
And look, fair play to the independent earners out there, because these are real, proven pathways where people successfully build businesses and reach that independence. We're talking about freelancers scaling up their client work, tradespeople building brilliant independent businesses from the ground up, content creators monetizing their audiences, and online businesses that just grow far beyond what anyone initially expected. These transitions are entirely possible, and to be fair, they happen around us every single day.
But on the flip side, we have to talk about the need for stability.
There is a massive divide here. On one hand, you've got the predictable, monthly security of a traditional job. You get regular wages you can literally set your watch by, access to benefits, and a really solid degree of security. But on the other side, you've got the unpredictable, heavy responsibility of being your own boss. A side hustle simply does not guarantee predictable income. Earnings can fluctuate wildly, clients can up and leave without any warning, and market demand can change overnight. So while the upside is massive, the risk you're taking on is significantly higher.
And the stark reality of going solo is that if things go wrong, there is absolutely zero fallback built into the system. A traditional job pays you every single month, rain, hail, or shine. But a side hustle? It only pays you if you actively generate the income. You carry the absolute entirety of the responsibility. And handing in your notice means losing that crucial safety net that working families completely rely on.
Which brings us right to the Irish cost factor.
Working families here face severe pressure from high rent, mortgages, and utility bills. These are rigid fixed expenses that do not budge even a cent when your independent income fluctuates. If you have a bad month and your earnings drop, Electric Ireland or your landlord isn't exactly going to lower your bill to match, are they? From this perspective, leaving a stable job too early can create overwhelming financial pressure. It dramatically amplifies the risk of relying on an unstable income.
As you can see, a massive chunk of a family's budget is eaten up by those daily expenses. This means a premature leap away from a stable job is just downright dangerous. The actual flexibility in a typical household budget is remarkably small. You can't just wish away your fixed housing and utility costs to match a slow month in your new business.
So, let's look at a safe, staged transition.
A smart transition happens in 3 distinct stages. Stage 1 is all about using the side hustle as supplemental income. You earn a bit extra, you build up your experience, and you test to see if the idea is actually viable in the real world. Stage 2 is when it becomes significant. It starts covering a meaningful portion of your actual bills. And then stage 3 is when your side hustle finally approaches or even exceeds your main wage. That's the point when you actually have a decision to make. You really don't have to think in binary extremes of just staying or jumping. And even at stage 3, you don't have to risk it all. You can simply reduce your hours at your main job and build up your savings to stay quids in. Transitioning gradually is absolutely the smart play here. You build additional financial buffers rather than making one sudden dramatic jump into the unknown.
Because before you even think about handing in your notice, you need a rock-solid system to ensure your new income is totally reliable. You have to evaluate your income consistency over a long period. You need a proper savings buffer in place. You've got to confirm that client demand is actually stable, and you need to prove your ability to continually generate new income. A side hustle isn't just a bit of extra cash, it's a system, and that system has to be completely reliable if it's going to support a household in Ireland.
I love this quote because it really grounds everything. You never leave your employer because a hustle could work. You only consider it when the hard evidence proves it is working. The emotional side of leaving a job for something you built with your own 2 hands is incredibly appealing, but honestly,
It can easily lead to overconfidence and premature decisions. You need hard evidence, not just blind optimism.
Throwing away stability without preparation almost always ends disastrously. We have to bring both sides together here. The goal isn't just to stubbornly leave your job, but to maintain or ideally improve your family's financial position after doing so. Chancing your arm might sound brave, but at the end of the day, preparation is what actually pays the bills.
To wrap up this explainer, we're leaving you with a massive question to think about for next time. What are the biggest execution mistakes that ruin a brilliant idea and stop a side hustle from ever working? Because more often than not, it's not the grand idea that fails, it's the execution. We'll be diving into exactly what those specific pitfalls are and how you can avoid them in our next session. Thanks a million for joining me, and I'll catch you on the next one.